Welcome to Stargate SG-1 for the first time. Still not a Star Trek podcast. My name is Jeff Akin, and I'm watching Stargate SG-1 for the first time.
My name is Brent Allen. I am watching SG-1 for the 47th time, but for the first time, I am going through this series looking for those sci-fi messages. What Stargate is trying to teach us. How do we be better human beings to one another? Can we have hope that things will someday be better in the future, which is awesome for a show that is not set in the future.
Very much set in the past. And in a way...
in the present. It's set in the present, which happened to be the 90s.
Set in the present, but the past of the present. In a way, though, Stargate from the past really reflects what we're going to do today. It's basically a message in a bottle. That bottle happens to be Prime Video for us, but a bottle nonetheless. When I heard this episode is going to be called Message in a Bottle, I predicted that we're going to go somewhere and they're going to run into some artifact that they're going to bring back. It's going to be some alien thing that is destroying stuff. Maybe it's got radiation, maybe some sort of something, but that's actually this alien's way of trying to communicate. And Sam's going to be the one to pick up on that, try to work through it.
You're a good guesser, Jeff.
You are good at telling us about these episodes. Is there anything cool about this one?
It aired on August 7th, 1998.
That's pretty cool.
That is the limit of where it is. But with that, there'll be more to discuss on the back end of this, I'm sure. I will tell you, Jeff.
I'm getting a little worried right now.
Well, this is one of those episodes, when we started and we were talking about like the messages, I'm like, yeah, there's really not going to be that many messages. This is one of those where I'm kind of going, yeah, I think I know what the message is going to be there, and it's going to be kind of boring.
Oh, really?
Like, because it's a message that we've done 1,000 times. So I'm really hoping I'm going to be surprised. I've been surprised so many times going through these episodes.
So stay tuned to see if Brent is pleasantly surprised or if he's just bored.
You can skip to the future, especially if you're listening to the audio podcast, because this is going to be real easy. Because in the audio podcast, Jeff, what's about to happen is we're going to do like something like sound drop, sound bite, something. And then it's going to appear like 45 minutes later. And the reason it's going to be 45 minutes later is we're going to watch the episode right now, which is going to take us about 45 minutes. We're going to do it right now.
We're going to watch it. If you were watching us on YouTube, you're going to see our reaction video kind of edited down, and we're going to react, and then we're going to talk about it. If you are one of our incredible patrons, you've joined our Patreon community, which you can do by clicking the link down below or in the show notes. We're in the process of maybe changing it, so I'm not even going to say it. We give you the link. It's easier to click it than say it anyway.
People are like, how long are you guys going to be in this process for? Holy cow.
We're planners is what we are. We're really good at planning. Let me rephrase that. We're really good about meeting to plan.
It's true.
We're good at that part of it.
One of these days, Jeff, we're going to write a book about all the ideas that we have had that never actually went to like, dude, that'd be a legit idea. Okay, how much does that cost? Okay, let's find out. And like, could we do it? Yeah, I think we could do it. I think we could make it happen. Okay. And then, yeah, it never does.
But if you're one of our incredible patrons, you get to see this unedited masterpiece that Brent and I have been working on. And just for context, if you are listening to the audio or any of the YouTube, we're almost 8 minutes into the full what Patreon gets. So there's quite a bit there. But speaking of there being quite a bit, Brent, how about we start Message in a Bottle and see what's in there?
Chevron 7 locked.
All right, Jeff. I'd like to say, first of all, welcome back to our audio podcast listeners. You guys are amazing. Jeff, we've just watched Message in the Bottle for the first time. Typically, I let you go first. I'm going to go first on this one.
Wow. Okay.
I'm going to go first on this one. I'm calling an audible. Well, I'm going to be real short and sweet. I got no chevrons on this one. I've seen this episode so many times in so many different ways, and they still did nothing with it. It was just plot all the way through. I might be able to pull like some random thing out here and there, but as far as mirror to society, better hope for the future, how do we be better humans to one another? It's not like that was a altruistic alien society that was trying to just communicate. No, they were like, yeah, well, I guess we're going to take over your world now. They're bad, so we got to get rid of you. The only thing I can maybe give you is talking is better than force.
Mm-hmm. You're close. Keep going. Keep going. There's a message here, and you're right up against it.
All right, tell me, Jeff, because
they're not bad at all. They were programmed. Everything that was set up was you're going to end up on where you're supposed to end up, and when you do, when like you're oxygenated and activated, when you're awakened, go multiply and go repopulate your world. They weren't being malevolent in like, oh, we're going to come and take over this world. They were, oh, there's energy here and they're feeding us oxygen. This must be the place we're supposed to go. And then when it all came to a head, they were like, look, like we're here. Get used to it. Like this is what's happening. We're going to multiply and do it. We were backed into a corner and we did the thing. And Hammond's like, well, you can't be here. Part of the lesson here, and this is more of a leadership thing than a Chevron thing, but just because you see, there's no possible, oh, we have no thing. You just need to look at it from a different angle. Pull the y-axis and look at it from that direction. This is where diversity really comes into play in things where someone's going to look at this differently than you. So we had two different species, and this 100,000-year-old species was like, we're supposed to find a place, be turned on, and multiply. Like that's our biological directive. Hammond is like, no, I don't see it that way. I have a different perspective than you, and that perspective is we can both win. Well, that's kind of cool. Here's the lesson, though. Judo, Aikido, when bad things that you don't understand come at you, don't oppose them. Don't fight them. Don't push back. Don't look at them automatically as a bad thing and try and get rid of them. Roll with it. Roll with those things and find a way to understand them. What I found, this really hit me in two places. The first was when they started talking about the big shot through his shoulder, and they're like, there's no trauma, there's no blood, there's no nothing. And there's kind of a throwaway line that it cauterized on the way through, but also no trauma around it. Cauterization leaves a lot of trauma. Like that's.
Well, did you see when it pulled out, he had nothing. He had no wound. There was a hole in his jacket, but there was no wound.
So I get that they were like, it's naive to say, oh, they shouldn't have seen it as a threat or whatever, but also there were hints along the way. And I think, oh gosh, as I'm talking about, there's so much more to it. Sam did the right thing in saying, hey, this is dangerous. It's attacking Jack. We need to do something to shut it down. But as soon as she got more information, she didn't hold on to that. She was like, I have new information. I can change my mind and I can do something different. I'm not locked on a path. So here's the message. Fear would have destroyed us. When we're afraid, we destroy. So instead of being afraid, we should be curious. And curious to a point that when we learn new things, we should adapt to those things and change our minds so that we can find a place where we can all win, we can all survive. As opposed to what we do now, where something new comes and it's scary and I'm afraid of it. So I'm gonna make sure that there's only 2 types of bathrooms, and I'm gonna make sure these books aren't there, and I'm afraid, I have fear, and so I'm going to destroy you, as opposed to, oh, well, now we know more stuff about this. We didn't know this before. I can change my mind and be curious about it. I would give this one 2 chevrons.
I'll meet you in the middle because I was going to give it 0. I'll meet you in the middle and give it 1, Jeff.
That's fair.
Meet you in the middle because a lot of that I'm sitting there going, yeah, no, you're stretching on that one. You're stretching on that one, but I'll give it to you. Like I said, there's something there. I'm kind of right there, but it just nothing about it just grabbed me, was like, yes, this is where we're going. It's just, here's a plot that's out there. And I think what you described is what is contained in that plot. This is one of those episodes to me, Jeff, a lot of sci-fi shows have done. There's a reason you were able to call this episode out for exactly what it was prior to hearing it, because this is one of those shows that every sci-fi show has ever done. Alien artifact comes in, tries to take over some aspect of this. This was in Inner Light for Next Generation. It turned out differently in that one, but that's where it is. So I'll meet you in the middle. I'll give it 1. And I feel really good about 1. I felt bad about 0.
But let's talk about Inner Light. So what if Picard, when he went to that other planet, where he eventually, like in a short amount of time, he rolled with it. He's like, well, this is my reality now, so I'm going to get in. What if he never did that? What if he stayed afraid and never got curious and fought the whole thing, then Inner Light would have been a very different episode, right? I'm not advocating for more. I guess I'm just really trying to drive the point home. I think it's an important message that, and it all came together when the Thorian, I'm going to call that thing the Thorian because it's what it is, out of Mass Effect, right? It's exactly the same as Mass Effect 2. Like even with the little growy stuff, it was perfect. But when the Thorian says, fear would have destroyed us, like they see that. God, if we could just internalize that as individuals, we could make a real difference in the world.
I agree with that message. I really do. I think it's a fantastic message. Here's the thing though. If this was the Inner Light, I think the question would have been, okay, these people have now downloaded their collective memory, their collective consciousness into Picard. The question is actually a little more Borgish than anything. Yeah, we're not if we leave you, we die as a society. We only exist in your memory, but we die as a society. So in order to save our society, tough noogies, we're just going to be here and take over your mind and we'll all live through you. And, we don't have an indication they could take over other people as well, but just tough noogies, we're going to take you over. Oh, you mean we can go over here to these folks over here and they're actually cool with it? Okay, fine. Let's go there. But I hear what you're saying, Jeff. I hear what you're saying. There is definitely the big, especially with Star Trek, and I'm gonna hold this one up against the Star Trek piece. There's the you have to learn to talk to it. Once you learn about it, you see what they really want. Then guess what? You can come up with a solution once you talk. Like that's it. I'm gonna give it a 1. It's a 1 chevron deal. It's there. It's very basic. It's so basic. Jeff, that is all I have to say as far as Chevron's messages and all that sort of stuff. What I'm really interested in is, what did you, a first-time watcher, pick up from Message in a Bottle?
A couple just lore-ish things that came up. I learned the term Talak, which is a dead planet or an extinct planet.
Little Jaffa language there.
We learned about wildfire. So when stuff is going south in the mountain, they initiate wildfire. Nothing goes in, nothing comes out. And after a certain amount of time, if they don't rescind wildfire, auto-destruct starts up.
We're going to give you 3 hours to sort this out or you're dead.
It's a lot of time, but it's really not.
Right.
2 things. So let me just say, I dug this episode. As I was watching it, I was thinking to myself, like, this isn't necessarily amazing, but this is a show, like, if this is one of those ones, it's on, I'm going to watch it. Like, oh, cool. This is a Message in a Bottle. I'm going to watch this one, which I can't say for some of the other episodes out there named Message in a Bottle. So it's a big thing. But there's two things specifically I loved about this episode. One was subtle, and we talked about it during the episode, but it bears repeating here. There is so much blind and unconditional trust between the people on the SG1 and Hammond together. So Sam's doing all the work here. She's pulling all the pieces together. From the science standpoint, Daniel's working on the linguistic side of things, but Sam's really leading the charge. And she's telling Hammond, we have to do this. And at no point does he say, explain to me why. What other things have you done? Did you think about this thing? Did you experiment with that? She just says, we have to do this. And he goes, okay, do this. Done. Just like that. One time, that led to him telling Teal'c to stop blowtorching things. Again, Teal'c didn't question. He didn't push back. He didn't try and defend or explain what he was doing. He just stopped blowtorching.
Mm-hmm.
That's tight. That's great. That's a well-functioning machine right there. One of my favorite relationships in television are just friendships. Like no romance, no nothing. Like Janeway and Chakotay, no romance, just 2 professionals that are working together and have respect for each other. But also like when you can get 2 dudes or 2 ladies who are just like, they love each other, like there's a deep thing, but it's not romantic. It's just a deep caring and love. And I think we have one of our first ones of those really budding between Jack and Teal'c. It's so beautiful. He says, so, Jack's, he's pinned up to the wall and he's like, Teal'c, you don't have to stick around, man. Like, this is boring. I get it. I'm just going to be hanging around. So, I'll be here later if you want to swing by. And he says, undomestic equines couldn't remove me from here.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's just deadpan. And Jack's like, you told a joke. But it was just this really cool moment that I think I've talked a lot about Tilk and how I really dig Tilk, but I like all the characters so far, and they've done a lot of work to develop them in a way that they can have a little exchange like that, and it's moving. It's like, oh, I felt that. I mentioned the reference to Mass Effect. This is very much like the Thorian in Mass Effect 1, just a little more electronic than it. But yeah, all in all, good episode. I think I hit some of the other stuff I wanted to say when I was talking about the judo sort of stuff, but this was essentially what I thought it was going to be coming in, and I'm kind of excited about that, to be honest.
I got to be honest, Jeff. You and I are in two different places on this episode. I've never liked this episode. It just feels slow. It feels plodding.
After we just watched Thor's Chariot, this feels slow?
Yes, this feels slow and plodding. Literally, he's just up against a wall the entire episode. That's it. Just it took him forever to get to it. Like I felt like you talked about Thor's hammer feeling like a 22-minute episode spread out over 42 minutes. This felt like a 16-minute episode to me, spread out over 40 minutes. I'm like, dude, come on. We got to do something more with this. There's just feels like there's something more. I got to tell you, perhaps I would have liked this episode better if Andy Dick had made a guest star appearance on it.
You wouldn't.
So, but that's just Brent's opinion. What really matters here, Jeff, is Jeff's opinion, because what Jeff gets to do is he gets to take these episodes and he gets to put them in our ranking, our definitive 100% completely accurate and immutable, unless he's wrong, ranking of season 2 of Stargate SG-1. Our current top 5 right now, Jeff, is Serpent's Grasp, Serpent's Lair. That duology is sitting up at the top. Thor's Chariot, number 2, the one that you just disparaged, by the way. How dare you? In the Line of Duty, Need, The Gamekeeper, and Prisoners. Jeff, where would you place Message in a Bottle?
This is going to be a top 5 episode.
I don't disagree with that.
It's just a question really of where it's going to land. I'm pivoting around Need right now. And there's a lot about Need that I really enjoyed, but also it just got kind of like, it didn't blow it at the end like some of the other ones, but it was just, drugs are bad. Okay. Don't do drugs. This kind of thing. So, which is disappointing, but also this one was kind of like, read the stuff when it's in front. Do that. Try it out. Yeah. I'm going to put this one as our new number 4, just above Need. And I see that you anticipated that as I was saying, like half a second before I said it, you were typing it because, yeah, I think that's where it goes.
We've done a handful of these shows, Jeff. I get where you're going.
Once or twice, we've done a little bit of ranking.
For the record, I think I would have it here, but I do think that I would flip-flop Need and Gamekeeper. Gamekeeper would be my 5. Need would be my number 6 here. Prisoners is still number 7 to me. But I might flip-flop Gamekeeper and Message in a Bottle, because I rather enjoy the Gamekeeper episode. I think it's fun. I think it's funny.
Okay, that's fair.
If you make me laugh, I can roll with you, even if you're not that great. So Jeff, with that's going to put a nice little bow. It's going to put a pin on the nose of Message in a Bottle. Would you like to know what we're watching next week?
Yeah, sure. An
episode called Family. Jeff, if I were to ask you to venture a guess what Family is about, it is not the Next Generation episode. Sorry. What do you think? What do you think this one's going to be?
It totally could be the Next Generation one, because what it's going to be is Jack was just hooked up to the Thorian and he had an entire legion of people inside of him, and it left. He's having a really hard time saying goodbye. So he's going to go back home, hang out with his brother,
get in a fight.
Okay. It's not going to be that. Family. You know, there's a family. Oh, okay. We've gotten looks into a couple of families. We got to look into Jack's family a little bit. We got to Sam has a developing kind of family, with Cassie,
and Dr. Frasier. So it's Sam, Dr. Frasier, and Cassie. That's an interesting family unit right there.
Hey, you know what? She's gonna be well taken care of. You got 2 doctors. That would be horrible to have 2 doctors as parents. Could you imagine?
Although I would venture to say that's more like Dr. Frasier is mom and Sam is like Aunt Sam.
Oh, that's fair. But still, that's family, right? That's all family. A family that we've touched on just a little bit, but is very germane to the Stargate story in full. The family of Daniel and Sharae Jackson.
Ooh, okay.
Not hiding her hair of Sharae for a long time. back in need, Daniel, he's going to get married to somebody else, and he was kind of all in, and it took Sam to remind him he was still married. I think this is going to be our first little glimpse at Shaw Ray.
Interesting. All right, Jeff. Well, hey, you are a good guesser.
Sure.
We'll find out next time if Jeff is right or oh so wrong. Hey, listen, you guys join us next week on Stargate SG-1 for the first time. Thank you for joining us this week. Please, wherever you are, don't forget to like, subscribe, share this video, this podcast, this audio feed, this whatever it is that you're consuming this show on. Be sure to share it with friends out there, people that love Stargate SG-1, or somebody you know that just needs to fill a part of the family, to join the family, so to speak. So with that, guys, we're going to get out of here. Thank you guys so much. I'm trying to get out of here before Jeff stops me. So I'll say see ya and
Hey,
so long.
Brent.
So close.
Oh my God,
So
I got
close.
something in my shoulder. It hurts really bad. What is this thing?
Oh my God. For crying out loud.